What's going on, guys? It's Des again. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the rank structure within an Army Reserve unit. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to take a look at the rank structure within an Army Reserve unit. So the first rank we're going to look at is Lieutenant Colonel. And that rank is identified by a pip with a crown over it. So a Lieutenant Colonel in an Army Reserve unit is your commanding officer. And it's going to be his or her responsibility for overall command of your unit. Whether it's training or administration, that is their job. The next rank we're going to look at is Major. And that rank is identified by a small crown. Now, a major in an Army Reserve unit will can have two to three different types of roles. The first one is Deputy Commanding Officer, or your DCO. So when your CO is not available, your Deputy Commanding Officer will be in overall charge of your unit. A major can also be Officer Commanding, OC, of either your unit's fighting company or fighting squadrons. So your OC will be in charge of the company or the squadron. Okay, so the next rank we're going to look at is Captain. And that is identified by 3 pips. So a captain will have various roles within an Army Reserve unit. A captain can be 2IC of the fighting company or the fighting squadron under the command of the major, or a captain can be OC of the company or squadron. Captains can also be platoon or troop commanders. Usually it's a junior captain can be put into that role. A captain can also be your adjutant. Now, the adjutant within an Army Reserve unit is basically a regular force captain. So in Army Reserve units, every Army Reserve unit we have what we call RSS staff. So RSS staff is basically regular forces member who are there in your unit to support your unit when your CO and everybody else in the chain of command is not available. So your RSS staff will always be there. You'll have a captain, you will have a warrant officer, and you may have 1 to 2 sergeants. So Lieutenant Colonel, Major, and Captain are your senior officers. The next ranks we're going to look at is Lieutenant. So Lieutenant is identified by 2 pips. So Lieutenant within an Army Reserve unit will be either the platoon or the troop commander. So their role is basically overall command of a 30 to 40 man and woman platoon. Now, some lieutenants will be put into different roles. You may have lieutenants as administration officers, transport officers, operations officers, or training officers. So most lieutenants will be in the fighting companies for a couple of years, and then they're going to be moved around to the different roles within your unit. The next rank we look at is Second Lieutenant, and that is identified by 1 pip. So a second lieutenant is basically an officer who has not completed all their officer training, and that could be due to school or their employment, and they can't take that much time off in the summer because summer training for officers is very long. So a second lieutenant can be a platoon or a troop commander. They can also be 2 ICs. They will also be moved around just like lieutenants to different roles within your unit. So your lieutenant and your second lieutenant are your junior officers. The next rank we'll look at is Officer Cadet. So Officer Cadet is identified by a pip with a white stripe. Now, Officer Cadets are basically brand new officers who haven't done their basic training yet. They have the rank, but they have not completed their training. So they're pretty much like brand new recruits. That's what they are, okay? With officer cadets, we don't salute them, but we will address them by their rank. We'll say either sir or we'll say ma'am. And so your officer cadet is not considered a junior officer. It's just below that. The next ranks we're going to look at are your senior non-commissioned members. So the first rank we're going to look at is your Chief Warrant Officer, your RSM, your Regimental Sergeant Major. And that rank is identified by a lion and a unicorn with a shield in the center, a crown, a knight's head on top, and then a crown. They'll have flags, and then there'll be inscription at the bottom in Latin. So get used to that rank, because your RSM is basically the right-hand person of your CO. Your RSM's main role is morale and welfare of the soldiers, helping the CO with the function of the regiment, and basically help junior NCMs move up the ladder in development. So that's your RSM's main job. Okay. The next rank we're going to look at, okay, is Master Warrant Officer. And that rank is identified by a crown with a wreath under it. Your MWO, or your Sergeant Major, is basically second in command of the either fighting company or fighting squadron, if there's no 2IC available. But a lot of times you will have a captain in the 2IC position, and then the Sergeant Major will be right below them. Your Sergeant Major basically does the same job as the RSM: welfare of the soldiers, training, and also discipline. The next rank we're going to look at is Warrant Officer, and that is identified by a large crown. Warrant Officers are basically second in commands of either a platoon or a troop. So basically, your lieutenants will have a warrant officer as his or her second in command, and will do the same thing as the RSM and the Sergeant Major, basically welfare of the troops, morale, and things like that. And also, warrant officers babysit lieutenants. Basically, they're like the dads of the platoon or the troop. That's what we like to call them, because they're there to help the new lieutenants or second lieutenants grow into that role. So that is basically their responsibilities, right? So your RSM, your Sergeant Major, and your Warrant Officer are your senior non-commissioned members. Your junior non-commissioned members are your sergeants, and the sergeant rank is identified by 3 chevrons with a leaf. Now, sergeant in the reserves is basically your section commander, and it's his or her responsibility to teach and to lead the section. Okay, so that is their role. The next rank we're going to look at is Master Corporal. Okay, and that's identified by 2 chevrons and a leaf. Now, in the Canadian military, Master Corporal is actually not a rank, it's actually an appointment. Okay, so basically a senior corporal who's gone on to their leadership course, completed that, gets promoted to the rank of Master Corporal. And they also understand it is just an appointment. So Master Corporal basically runs a section. So your section commander teaches and leads a section, and your Master Corporal runs a section. So next rank we're going to look at is Corporal, and that's identified by 2 chevrons. So you have senior corporals and you have junior corporals. Your senior corporals have been in for quite a while and are getting ready to move on to their next step, which is going to be to Master Corporal. Your junior corporals are basically your privates who've completed a QL4 type course and have been promoted to corporal. Okay, and they're still new, so they're going to be learning, and it's going to be up to the Master Corporal and your senior corporals to mentor your junior corporals. The next rank is Private, and that's identified by 1 chevron. So that is private trained. That means a private has completed their development phase, their DP1 course, and get promoted to private once they get back to their unit after their courses. The next rank and the last rank you'll see is Private Recruit or Private Untrained, and basically there's no rank. Okay, so in the Army, on our combat uniforms, we wear our ranks in the center of our chest, okay, on Velcro or slip-on patches. When we're in our dress uniforms, the officers will wear their ranks on their shoulder boards, and the RSM, Chief Warrant Officer, and the Warrant Officer will wear their ranks on their sleeve, and everyone else below will wear their ranks, okay, above where their biceps are, in that area. Okay, that's how they wear it in the dress units. That's how you'll be able to identify each rank. So your private basic is just someone who's just joined the regiment or your unit, hasn't completed basic training yet, or have completed their BMQ. They will still have the same private rank, but they will be considered private trained. Okay, so that is the rank structure within Army Reserve units. Now, certain trades will have different designations for rank. The artillery, for example, their master corporals are called master bombardiers, their corporals are called bombardiers, and their privates are called gunners. In the engineers or privates are called sappers. In the armored reconnaissance units, their privates are called troopers. Now we also have French Canadian units. So the way they pronounce ranks are different. So a master corporal is corporal chef in a French Canadian unit, right? Also, the private ranks in different units will have different types of designations. For example, if a private is in a rifle regiment, they will be called riflemen. If they're in a Highland regiment, they will be called Highlanders. A Guards regiment, Guardsmen, and also Grenadier, and so forth. So it depends on what designate your unit is. Your privates will be called something. There'll still be privates, but they'll be just called something different. All right. So there it is, guys. I hope you guys like this video. Okay, the rank structures within an Army Reserve unit. Okay, if you like the video, give me that big thumbs up. Also, post in the comment section below. If you are new to my channel, welcome, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe. Make sure you have your notification on so you know when I post more and informative videos. So enjoy 2021, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.